In boot camp, Sami was formally introduced to the culture of the Marines. He met the other new recruits, a lot of young men like himself. "They are some crazy psycho guys in the Marine Corps," he told me, "but that's a tiny percentage. The rest of the Corps is made up of a lot of people who join because they don't know what they're doing. They're just here because they made a stupid mistake, or because they have a family that they want to provide for, or because they have to do it out of necessity. A large number, in other words, are people who sign up because they are essentially, in his word, lost. What the Corps is not like is Jarhead," he told me. When I met Sami for the first time in 2006, the film version of Jarhead had just been released on video. He told me he was unhappy with the movie, convinced that yet again the Marines were being stereotyped as people who have to kill to live. Full Metal Jacket, he volunteered, was a much better film. I had thought that both films shared quite a bit, a grueling basic training that verged on the absurd, a theater of war that was confusing, if not ridiculous, at least from an individual soldier's perspective, a likable and intelligent protagonist who is the straight man to the bizarre reaches of military sociology, sentimental camaraderie. But it was Full Metal Jacket's now legendary depiction of basic training that was scrupulously accurate, Sami said. And that's why he loves the film. As did the recruiters in Kubrick's film. Sami trained on Paris Island. And just like the one in the movie, his receiving drill instructor was ruthless. "I didn't want him to kill me," Sami said. The sergeant was intimidation personified. When the recruits were standing in formation one day, Sami pissed his pants just because he was afraid to tell the drill instructor that he had to use the bathroom. Boot camp is the hardest thing you could ever do, according to Sami. Each day left you physically and mentally exhausted. Letters from family become sweet moments of reprieve. The experience was tough enough that he entertained thoughts again of quitting the service, but he was afraid of going to jail, and his superiors made sure to let him and the other recruits know that that is where they would land if they packed up and left. To survive boot camp, he made friends with a group of guys who would be with him for the next 4 years. He was closest to Dan, his bunkmate, and by the end of boot camp, his time had gone exactly according to the Marine Corps program. He had grown into believing that he could complete anything he set his mind to. He had learned how to plan, execute, and evaluate. He had gained an inner confidence that he'd never had before, and he lost 35 pounds. By the very end of August, he had earned a 10-day vacation before he needed to report back for duty. He went home and enjoyed his time off by doing nothing. Then, reporting for duty, he boarded an overnight bus to Camp Lejeune in North Carolina for his Marine combat training. The bus pulled out of New York City late at night on September 10th, 2001.